If you're struggling with low stroke rates and keeping your split during those low stroke rates, then this is going to be exactly for you. Especially if you find that as you get higher in stroke rate, that's the only way that you're able to keep those splits is by going up to a 26, a 28, a 30, then what you need to work on is getting more power per stroke. And in this video, I'm going to go over 2 technique tips that are really going to help you be better at that. And 1 tip for the power and applying that and how you can help keep that stroke rate down, but keep that power per stroke up to help those splits at that low stroke rate. So stick around. My name's Alicia Clark, and we're going to go over how to get more power at low stroke rates. The first technique tip that I want to go over is to make sure that you're using those legs first on the drive. So when you start your stroke, we are up at the catch, and from here we want to drive down with those legs first. It's really easy because we're holding onto that handle and we want to use as much power as we can to get to the finish. It's easy to want to lean back. We want to avoid trying to drive the handle back, and in doing that, we lean back. What happens is, you'll notice, I want you to watch my feet. When you are at the catch here, you use your legs, those heels are able to maintain contact. When I lean back, now my heels are off of the footboards. And now I'm driving through my toes a lot more than I would be. What that does is it uses a little bit smaller muscles, still uses some of your leg muscles, but you're missing out on these huge hamstrings to help you out. So keeping those hips behind you and your shoulders in front of your hips as those legs drive, you're able to use your hamstrings so much more, generating a lot more power. When you do this, you'll have to brace with your lats at the catch. It's a brace, brace, and push. To help you with this, you can do the reverse pictorial, which starts with legs only rowing, really making sure that those shoulders stay in front of the hips. Too often I see this when we're trying to do legs only, that body will still open a little bit. So really force it. It's gonna be uncomfortable to keep those shoulders in front of the hips in those legs only rowing. Next in the reverse pictorial is legs and body, and then legs, body, arms. If you need another video to go over that drill for a follow along, I'll have that linked in the description, so check that out. If you're struggling with leaning back at the catch or want to improve that leg drive at the front, check out the reverse pictorial. Second thing is, on the recovery, is to hit that body over position. Now, this might seem backwards. Why am I emphasizing something on the recovery if a hard drive is what gets me a better split? And the reason I say that is because it sets you up so much better to get that good leg drive. If you're not rocked over enough, or you're doing it last, you're not set up as well for the next stroke. So it's really important to hit this body over position where we're arms out, body are over before those legs come up, because you're able to get right into that next stroke. Legs go in and out for that next powerful stroke, to use those legs. So second tip to hit that body over position, you can use a couple drills to work on hitting this position. One is the pause drill, which is my favorite for this, or you could do the pick drill. But I'm going to emphasize on the pause drill because you can practice pausing here, continuing on the next stroke, pause, pause, and then as you're rowing, you can make the pause shorter and shorter until the pause isn't there anymore. And that can really help to make sure that you're hitting that position on the way up the recovery. So, seems a little backwards, but getting that body over position will set you up really nice for that next stroke. And if you need to follow along for that pause drill, that will also be linked in the description. Last thing that we're going to go over is what's called ratio. This is really what's going to help you get that power per stroke. So, what ratio is the ratio of your drive to your recovery. To get this split on the monitor, all of the energy goes into the drive. Your drive is what gives you your number. It doesn't, yes, it does matter how fast you come up to the front, but you're not doing any work to get a faster split on the recovery. That's the point I'm trying to make. So the recovery is just to get back up to the front. If you go fast on the recovery, it doesn't do anything for you split-wise. So that means it's good to be relaxed on the way up. Help you to have a strong drive, and a relaxed recovery will help bring those splits down. I'll show you a little demo right here really quick. What can happen is if we're just kind of bouncing back and forth, 1-to-1-ish, with the drive about as fast as the recovery, this is not as good of a ratio. Now I'm going to shift right here. Strong drive, relax on the way up. Strong drive, relax on the way up. My stroke rate went down and my split got faster too. Both of them happened because I'm having a harder drive. I'm putting more into the drive, so my split goes down, and I'm relaxing on the way up, which is going to lower that stroke rate. So if you're trying to get better at that 18, 20, 22, working on that hard drive, relaxed recovery, that's what's going to help you bring those splits down at those lower rates. Now, keep in mind, there's only so much that this can happen, because as you do get to higher rates, it is a little bit easier to keep that flywheel spinning, so naturally the splits will get a little bit faster as the stroke rate goes up. It's pretty natural. However, if there's a point where you get to a 24, and even if you go to a 22, it's just really hard, the split just really goes a lot slower, then that might be a sign that you need to work on those lower rates, working on power per stroke, having a good ratio. A couple resources that can be good to work on this that I know of, one especially is the Metronome app, so I'll link that down in the description as well. That can help you by you set a stroke rate and a ratio that you're shooting for, and there's a little stick figure that will show you how fast the drive to how long to take up the recovery. You can use that in warm-up or in a drill, but it doesn't need to be, your ratio doesn't need to be exactly 1 to 2. As you go through different stroke rates, it's gonna vary a little bit. What's important is that your drive is faster than your recovery, that you're relaxing on the way up. That's what's gonna help you the most. So just to recap what we've gone over getting those legs on it first, down on the drive, using the reverse pick drill to help us with that, making sure we're not leaning back at the catch. Second is hitting that body over position on the recovery to set us up well for that next stroke. Third thing is working on our ratio, getting that power per stroke into our rowing so that we can lower the splits and have a nice strong stroke even at lower rates. After this, you just got to practice. It's going to take time because working on that ratio, you're going to have to find a balance between how hard you push and how long your pieces are, because you can only push so hard. If you're pulling and pushing as hard as you can, you're at an 18, but you might not be able to hold that for very long. So there is a give and take between how hard are you pushing and what your split is and stroke rate. It's going to take some practice to get there, but to help you out a little bit, think about that power per stroke, really relaxing on the way up. If you found this helpful, Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope to see you in the next video.